The storm knocked the power out just after midnight. Rain hammered against the windows. Tree branches scraped across the roof. Then someone knocked on our front door. When my husband opened it, the man I'd been having an affair with was standing there, soaked, shivering. His truck had slid into a ditch 3 miles away. He only wanted to borrow a phone. Instead, my husband looked at him, looked at the storm, and quietly said, "You're not driving anywhere tonight." Then he stepped aside. "Stay the night." I forgot how to breathe. My name is Emma. My husband's name was Daniel. The man I betrayed him with was Tyler. Tyler and I had been together for almost 10 months, long enough to believe we'd been careful, long enough to believe Daniel would never know. We met through work. He handled regional accounts. I worked in finance. Our offices were in different cities. That made the affair easy. Business trips, hotel rooms, late-night emails. Every lie came wrapped in a calendar invitation. Daniel trusted me, the kind of trust you don't appreciate until you've destroyed it. He worked as a high school science teacher, patient, steady, the sort of man who could explain anything without ever raising his voice. Somehow, that made disappointing him even worse. The affair was supposed to end after one weekend. Instead, it became another life. One rainy Friday, Tyler drove to see me. Daniel was working late during parent-teacher conferences. We planned dinner, maybe a movie, nothing complicated. Then the weather changed. Rain became hail. Hail became wind. The county issued a flash flood warning. Daniel called. "Roads are closing. I'll be home soon." Panic flooded my chest. Tyler grabbed his keys. "I'll leave." "You can't. If Daniel sees your truck, I'll figure something out." He hurried outside anyway. 10 minutes later, the lights went out. My phone buzzed. "Tyler." I slid into a ditch. "I'm okay. I think I can walk." Before I could answer, Daniel walked through the front door carrying a flashlight. "No power?" I forced a smile. "Looks like it." Then, someone knocked. 3 slow knocks. Daniel opened the door. Tyler stood there dripping rainwater onto the porch. "I'm sorry. My truck. I just need to use your phone." For one impossible second, nobody moved. Daniel looked directly at Tyler. Recognition crossed his face. Not because they'd met, because he'd already seen photographs, text messages, hotel receipts. He knew exactly who Tyler was. Tyler didn't know that. "I'll only be a minute." Daniel glanced toward the road. The storm had become almost impossible to see through. Then he quietly said, "You're not driving tonight." Tyler blinked. "What?" "My guest room's upstairs." Silence. I couldn't. "You could." Daniel stepped aside. "Stay the night." I stared at him. "Daniel," he looked at me. "It's not safe outside." Nothing in his voice sounded angry. That somehow made it worse. Tyler slowly stepped inside. Daniel handed him a towel. "Bathroom's down the hall. I've got some dry clothes that'll probably fit." Tyler looked completely lost. Thank you." Daniel simply nodded. Dinner sat untouched on the kitchen counter. 3 plates, 3 glasses. I wanted to disappear. Daniel noticed them. He smiled faintly. "I guess I don't need to ask who the 3rd plate was for." Tyler lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Daniel didn't answer. Instead, he walked to the kitchen, started warming the food. A few minutes later, he carried 3 plates to the dining table. "You're already here. We might as well eat before it gets cold." None of us wanted to sit down. Daniel did first. Eventually, so did we. The silence lasted almost 5 minutes. Only forks against plates, rain against windows, thunder overhead. Finally, Daniel spoke. "So, how long?" I answered before Tyler could. 10 months. Daniel nodded once. I thought it was about 8. My heart stopped. You knew? Not everything, but enough, Tyler whispered. Why didn't you confront us? Daniel looked out the dark window. I wanted to be sure I wasn't imagining it. Another silence. And once I was sure, I realized the marriage was already over. No anger, no accusations, just exhaustion. After dinner, Daniel carried blankets upstairs. He showed Tyler the guest room. Fresh sheets, clean towels, a bedside lamp connected to a battery pack. At the door, Tyler quietly said, I don't deserve this. Daniel smiled sadly. No, you don't. Another long pause. But the storm doesn't care what you've done. You'd freeze trying to walk home. I won't become the kind of man who lets someone suffer just because they've hurt me. Tyler's eyes filled with tears. I don't know what to say. Daniel answered softly. Neither do I. That night, nobody slept. I lay awake listening to rain, listening to footsteps overhead, listening to the silence between the life I'd had and the life I'd chosen. Morning finally came. The storm had passed. Daniel made coffee. 3 mugs. Just before Tyler left, Daniel handed him his truck keys. The tow company dropped them off. Tyler took them slowly. I'm sorry. Daniel nodded. I know. Then Tyler surprised both of us. I'm ending this. He looked at me. I can't build a relationship on the kindness of the man I helped betray. He walked out the front door. I never saw him again. Weeks later, Daniel and I finalized our divorce. There was no dramatic courtroom fight. No shouting. Just signatures. Years have passed. People always ask what happened when my husband found out about the affair. They expect screaming, broken furniture, police. Instead, I tell them the truth. The night my affair partner knocked on our door during a storm, my husband told him to stay the night. Not because he'd forgiven us, not because he'd forgotten. Because even after everything we'd done, he refused to let the worst thing that happened to him become the reason he stopped being the man he'd always been. For a long time, I believed love was measured by passion, by excitement, by being chosen. I know better now. Real character isn't revealed when life is easy. It's revealed on the worst night of your life, when you still choose compassion over revenge. That storm only lasted until morning. But the quiet grace my husband showed that night is something I'll carry for the rest of my life.